I sent it to him.
All set, Mr. Chair.
Okay. With that, I would like to call the February 2nd, 2026 Genoa Charter Township Board of Trustees regular meeting into session at 6:30 PM. I ask you please stand and join me for the invocation. Heavenly Father, we gather today to do the people's business, mindful of the bitter cold that has a grip on our community. We pray for your divine protection of families, children, and the elderly. We ask that you help to keep power steady and homes warm. Please watch over our first responders, plow crews, and especially our most vulnerable. We ask that you stir our hearts to compassion and let this community be a source of warmth and light. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please remain standing for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. May I get a roll call, Clerk Susie?
Sure. Walker.
Here.
Reiber.
Here.
Hunt.
Here.
Valenti.
Here.
Hovarder.
Here.
Susie here. Spicer.
Here.
All set.
Okay, with that, I will open the call to the public at 6:31 PM.
Jim Carpenter.
Not every meeting do I talk, but. I was happened to look at the agenda for tonight, and there's talking about the $27,000 for the fixing of the pipe that we had a problem with a while ago. I thought the group did a great job of fixing it in the time frame they did, but he made a statement, I was hoping he's gonna be here today, but he made a statement saying that they didn't know that that stub pipe was where it was at. So that struck me as very odd that we don't know where our infrastructure is at. So what I'd like to see us do, especially since we're talking budget, is to put some money in the budget for this year for the water department and go out and find out where are all our pipes at. I don't know how hugely expensive that is or not. Maybe we put some money in for them to figure it out. And then if we find out that there's 50 of these stub pipes all over that are just held on by 4x4s, then we need to take some drastic attention to make it fix. If we do the study and find out there's 2, then we don't really worry about it too much, but we should still budget for fixing these. He said, we don't know. We don't know if there's 10 of them or there's 1,000 of them. If it's 27,000 every time, and it's an emergency every time we do this, it's gonna cost us a lot of money. So if we get in front of it by scoping it, or I don't know how to do it, but I'm sure there's people out there that do that, we could go ahead, find out how many of these pipe stubs that we have out there that are just held on by 4x4s and get them fixed before they become a problem. So something for you guys to consider when you're looking at your budget and stuff. Because he said it was 10% of his budget, right, to fix this thing. And so if we have 10 of them, he could completely blow up the budget for the year. So we need to find out how many we've got, and get them fixed in a kind of an orderly fashion so we can actually budget for it. So that's my suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim.
No one else.
Nobody else? Okay. Would anybody else who didn't sign up like to address the board? Okay, with that, I will close the call to the public at 6:33. And at this time, I would entertain a motion regarding the consent agenda.
Can I make a motion on the consent agenda?
You may.
Can we move the payment of bills to the regular agenda?
Is that a motion?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion
Okay.
to move the
To
payment
approve
of
the,
bills.
approve the consent agenda with the removal of the payment of bills.
Is that what I say?
Yep.
Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the removal of payment of bills.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion. I have a second. Any further discussion?
Do you want me to explain why I'm asking to do that?
You may.
So I'm asking to do that because I want to state again to the public that I am the director of the senior center, and there is a line item of payment that was made to the senior center in the payment of the bills for this past month. So I just want to ask the board if I can be excused from voting on that particular issue.
Okay.
So there's no conflict of interest with my position in the vote.
Appreciate that.
And
Real quick,
when we get to that, we'll, as a line item, then we'll do a motion to exclude her from the voting.
before we approve, I would like to ask Attorney Seward, this is a check to pay for services that were approved before Jody was a member of our board. Do you still feel it is necessary for her to not vote on the approval of paying bills based upon her position?
You know, as I understand it, this was an amount approved by the board well before she became a trustee, and it's actually been paid already pursuant to the policies adopted by the township. So do I think that there is an actual conflict? No, but I think it's wise that she raise this and then this board decide whether she should be recused from voting on that item or not.
Okay,
Good.
just for some clarification, so that every time we send a payment to the senior center, we don't have to go through this. Or,
That's a different
well, if they,
question.
once she is among the group that approved it, then we would
Yes,
have to.
And I think there's been there's some discussions. I think the practice has been to pay bills after they're approved as opposed to paying them before they have been approved.
Correct.
So when it comes to that point, we should revisit that because is there a conflict, however slight? Maybe, but even the state's conflict of interest laws talks about insubstantial conflicts, and they place the dollar amount at less than $25,000. So, I mean, that's something this board is going to have to take a look at, but you should address it when this issue comes up.
Okay. So I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I would ask all those in favor to signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Moving on is the regular agenda, which has now been modified to include the payment of bills.
I'd move approval of the regular agenda with the addition of payment of bills.
Second?
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion?
Can I suggest that the board should decide whether there's even a need to ask Ms. Valente to, recuse herself or be recused? I think you should address that.
Okay.
I'm not saying there is a conflict, I just think, the board should just decide whether there is or isn't.
Can we do that once we get?
As part of
get
the
to
payment of bills motion?
Well, I thought you are paying the bills right now.
No.
No, the regular.
No, we're
agenda.
moving it to the regular
never-
agenda, yep.
Then ignore what I just said.
Okay.
Okay, yep. So, I have a motion,
You have a second?
I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I would ask all those in favor to signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Meaning action item number 3 is the payment of bills from February 2nd, 2026. With the foregone explanation that because one of these checks is to an operation that Jody works for, she is concerned there could be a conflict. You have heard the advice of our attorney, so partially we need to determine if we would like to do this every time. If so, we will probably, anytime there is a payment to the senior center, we will just hold that out of the consent agenda and have it be item number 1 on the regular agenda, if we feel that would be the best way to proceed moving forward. We don't want to put Jody in a peculiar spot. We appreciate her stepping up to serve.
My opinion is that the payment we make to the senior center for our residents does not affect her income at all, and I don't think she needs to be reclused from the voting. I don't think there's a conflict at all.
I agree. I believe in reading the MTA rules, that you would need to recuse yourself if you're going to directly benefit financially.
Or a member of your family, I think, right?
Right.
Which you do not.
Which you don't.
Yeah, I would argue that whether we pay that bill or not, Jody will still get paid her salary
Right.
and the same level by the Brighton schools.
Exactly.
I do appreciate it being pointed out, so everybody is aware and we're completely transparent. I do think a key point here is that this was previously approved by the board. So I don't see a need to recuse yourself, so.
I agree.
We will revisit that upon a renewal of that contract. Would you recommend
Yes, when
that?
this issue comes back up, it'll depend upon the circumstances and what's being discussed, more importantly, what's being voted upon.
So the original agreement was for 1 year, and we were seeing how this is gonna be received by the township residents. And then that's coming up here, and we'll look at it in our next budget. So I think that that'd be the appropriate time to look at it. And I'm certain that based on the response that we've had with that we're gonna wanna continue providing that service to our residents. And again, I don't think Jody has an impact on the end result of that either way on it. Obviously, she's in support of us being involved with that, as most of our residents are, so we'll certainly bring it up again when it comes to vote on the budget, but, and if others feel that she needs to recluse herself from the voting for it, we'll have it as a separate line item for the budget to deal with Park and Recs, as we talked about, so.
Did we put a cap on the amount we're willing to spend towards that program or not?
We did, it was 10,000.
How far are we into it now? You know?
Isn't that for last year?
Yeah, for this last year.
This fiscal, our
We
fiscal
weren't
year,
even close to that.
which ends March 31st. We are not.
$10,000 we were willing to spend?
That's what
I
we
can't believe
said.
there's that many seniors.
Well, we're not that,
We
we're
didn't
not
know. We didn't
that
want to shut
close,
the
but
door in their
14.
face before
Yeah,
it even.
We didn't want to have to tell somebody, hey, thanks for coming out, but we can't.
You don't fit our budget.
We're
Genova
out.
Township, there's
You're late.
4,500 people that are 65 or older.
So, and it's $25 a member, isn't it? Isn't that what
$25
we're
a
doing?
member. Yeah,
Contributing?
So there's your 10 grand if everyone wanted to do it.
well, it's more than that if everybody wants.
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
And that's still below the $25,000 threshold that Attorney Seward spoke of.
That's for the state conflict of issue, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, right.
Nice.
I don't see a problem.
I don't either. So if we were to excuse Jody from voting, it would have to be a unanimous vote to excuse her.
Well, first of all, there'd have to be a motion.
There would have to be a motion,
Right,
but
and
just,
then it would have to be unanimous.
yeah, we don't have to make a motion if we don't think that there's going to be a
But I think
unanimous.
this discussion is great because it's gonna be part of the minutes and everybody be aware that she did, went far beyond what she needs to do.
Yes, no, absolutely.
I
So
think we're all in agreement that Jody does not need to.
we can, I would entertain a motion just to pay the bills with Jody voting.
Candy, are you agreeing with that too? Okay. Just wanna make- Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's okay.
I heard everybody, and Candy was asking some
Yeah,
questions.
no, it has to be a unanimous excusal, and it didn't sound like we had it. Not that that's a word, but it didn't sound like we had that.
I make a motion that we move forward with the payment of bills.
Second?
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I would ask all those in favor to signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same? Motion carried. Action item number 4 is the consideration of a request for approval of a proposal from D'Angelo Construction to perform the repairs, which would be more permanent repairs, on the Oak Point water system related to the January 18, 2026 water main break at a cost not to exceed $27,706.25.
So I'd just like to make a note that Mr. Tatera was going to be here tonight. And after his excellent explanation at the last board meeting and being here for so long, we did tell him he didn't need to come tonight. But I'm sure he's watching, and I'm sure he heard your questions and comments.
And to answer that question, the 27,000, that's as he put in there, not to exceed. That's that's the high-end max it could possibly be, and that's if he needs 2 days of excavators out there, and he doesn't think it's gonna take that long. So this is the worst-case scenario, what the number's gonna be. And we'll have an answer on, I think it's an Oak Point issue, not.
It is.
It's not a utilities issue as far as where these pipes are and these caps are and all that kind of stuff. They didn't even know it was there. So I think that's going to be addressed in some fashion as he's going forward, as he explained to me today, so.
What this repair is, and they're probably going to do some of the camera work themselves to try to keep the cost down. This number does include D'Angelo doing the camera work. They're going to put a remote camera into the pipe and try to follow it back to where
Everything goes.
where it goes, so they know and they can do a proper T. Without a map, I mean, we have miles, hundreds of miles of pipe. Unfortunately, if somebody has stubbed something in that we were not aware of, it would be very, very hard to locate. They're deep enough under the ground, it's not like you can cruise over the top with an X-ray machine or something. So unfortunately, you kind of have to wait for that to happen. Now, that's the first one that I know of in 30-plus years that did what that did. I mean, there have been other breaks, but something that was unlocatable, to my knowledge, that is the first time that has happened on the Oak Point system.
Yeah, that's, the question was brought up with Greg Tatera here, and he's like, yeah, that's how we find them,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
And if I can just add to, compared to like a system maybe in the city of Detroit or the city of Flint that's very old, our infrastructure is relatively new, right? Most of it was built in the 1980s. We have pretty good ideas of where everything is located. I wouldn't say that we have an issue with there being pipes out in the community that we didn't know about for the most part, because the system is relatively new. We know where everything is. These are sort of one-off things that happen, but I don't know that there's expressed enough of a problem with these that would require us to sort of do a preemptive review of the system.
I have two questions, and first of all, off of your point, Kelly, so, and I think what Mr. Carpenter said was, this is pop goes the weasel, right? We have no idea where it is, and it's 10% of his budget, so, I mean, at least if we can't find them and something does happen, can we budget for fixing one? Because if these are wood 4x4s and they're 30 years old, you know, we may be on a shoestring here for the next one to go. We don't know.
I do doubt that there are very many that are held on with a 4x4. That was kind of crazy. That's the first time Greg's seen that,
Yeah, but
and he's been at this for quite a
we
while.
don't even know where the rest of them are.
No,
so we
anything's
could-
possible.
There is anymore.
If there is, yeah, we don't know that there are, but it was the wild, wild west. Back in the day, this was our first stab at running utilities in the mid to late 80s, so.
Well, and I think that's sort of inherent to owning and operating a utility system. Water mains burst, things happen. It's kind of inherent to what they do, that sometimes those episodes pop up and you have to respond to them. Very difficult to budget for something like that. We will be taking a look at the Oak Point budget, likely at the next meeting. So we can maybe look at that and see if there's a contingency line item or what he has budgeted for system infrastructure improvements like that.
He's done a great job managing MHOG as a whole. And the opportunity was put before him for that, and he didn't jump at it, so.
My second question was, were there any competitive quotes besides D'Angelo?
So for this type of work, we rely pretty exclusively on D'Angelo. We have used some other contractors in the past with lesser results. So on the more difficult tasks, he does prefer to go with D'Angelo. And they have been very fair to us. They're the ones that came out at,
6 o'clock in the
yeah,
morning.
6 o'clock in the morning in the middle of winter and,
During a blizzard.
yeah, and help,
How
through it.
fast does this have to be done? I mean, do we have time to at least get another quote? Because I think our policy says, and I understand we have, unless there's a well-good relation or it's an emergency job right here, do we have enough time to get a second quote at least?
This won't happen till the spring, I believe. Did they put a?
Yeah, he said like spring.
Yeah, it will be spring. I don't know if he put a start date on there. I didn't see it. So there certainly is. I think his goal was to get on the list, so we were very early out when the weather broke. I don't know that you're necessarily gonna find, I mean, they're pretty competitive. So unless we're hoping to find somebody that makes a mistake on a bid, I don't necessarily know that it's gonna come in lower.
Well, and I think the key here is on this job, because they were the crew that was there on the emergency repair, they're already familiar with what's going on out there. And to me, they are the better contractor to apply to this job. I mean, Greg does his due diligence and shops around.
And when you have vendors who jump when you ask and take care of them, you have to take care of them as well.
Well, they got paid for that, didn't they?
They did.
Okay.
Well,
And
of course.
they probably charged a pretty penny, I would, right? But
I don't think it was out of
They
line.
didn't know, as a
They
matter of
also
fact,
learned a
Bill,
lot on that
I
project.
understand that, but if somebody
Bill,
comes in at $50,000.
to answer your question, they did not charge us any overtime for that weekend
not.
work either.
Okay,
That's why they
So they
came
were
Monday
being very
morning.
fair with us.
okay.
They were.
I'm
would
just
it-
trying to follow the purchasing procedure.
I mean, would it be fair to say, I mean, if another person, they're not gonna, well, I mean, if another person came in higher for the same work, it would just show us that this,
Exactly.
We can ask Greg
company
to
is
seek another bid. I believe our policy does have, like I said, an exception for known and trusted vendors. And I'm on the MHOG board and the GEO board. We use D'Angelo quite extensively. We've used D2, and they've been decent. We've used some other contractors and, mixed results. So I think because of what this was, Greg maybe feels a little more, this will be a live tap so that we don't have to do a boil water again. This will be installing a valve with a live tap. So you don't necessarily want the new guy on the block giving that a shot, or we will have to do boil water again.
Well, I would still like to request that we get, I think our policy says if it's over $25,000, you might have to get 3 quotes.
So let me ask a question. Since this is for MHOG and this is for Oak Point, which the residents of Oak Point are paying for it and the township is not paying for it, does it really require us to be that level of scrutiny to this thing?
Scrutiny.
Well, it's
We've got
the-
months to do it. And you
It's
can
the
have-
members of the Oak Point water system. So it's also North Shore
Okay.
and, the Tri-Lakes have wells. They only use Oak Point sewer. But it's not just Oak Point, but it is our utility.
and we don't necessarily, like, there's nothing in the rules that say we have to go with the lowest bidder.
No. And I always
Just
recommend that we
always,
don't
like, if
go
you
with the
have
lowest
some
bidder.
competing things, just to kind of get a comparison, you can always.
Yep,
Okay.
there, again, there isn't a,
Right.
so if you have a job you need done, that you have a trusted contractor, you don't have to go out to bid every time.
So I wondered about that too. So you just said that Oak Point somehow is paying for this? Not,
And users of the Oak Point water system pay in to the fund via their utility bills, and that's how the money that funds all of these repairs is built. So if you aren't on this water system, you haven't paid anything towards it.
but Greg is responsible for making sure it works
Yep,
because of MHOG.
yep, Greg, so we used to have a private contractor that that did what MHOG now does. When MHOG was created, we turned over the management of the Oak Point water and sewer system to MHOG. Those are the transfers that you see in and out of the GO fund to MHOG and vice versa. So I am open to any motion.
It's my opinion, I'm not comfortable approving this without a competitive quote, at least one. If the guy comes in $2,000 cheaper, that's when you invoke, this is a preferred supplier, the guy has an education, he's done it, but I want to see some competitive quotes to this.
Okay?
And how many quotes are you thinking?
I think our policy for purchase orders above $25,000 is two more.
3 total bids.
So your recommendation, Bill, at this point is not to approve this for D'Angelo to do it, but to go back to Greg and tell him to get 2 more quotes.
Table the item
And
and,
a review of the 3 competing quotes, apples to apples, then we can approve.
okay?
Do I need to make that a motion?
I do, yeah, we need to
Okay.
table it until
we get-
2 additional bids are
Okay, I
secured.
make a motion to table the decision on approving D'Angelo to fix the Oak Point water main break until such time as we have at least 2 other competitive quotes to review.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion. I have a second. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'm gonna stand by what I previously said, because I am so familiar with D'Angelo from being on the MHOG and GEO boards, and the fact that this is the company and crew that were on site at 6 a.m. and fixed the emergency repair. They're familiar with what is needed, and other vendors will not be, so. I'm
I agree.
You want a roll call on that one?
Any further discussion? Yeah, let's go ahead and, can we get a roll call, please, Clerk Susie?
So this is a motion from Bill to table this, right, Bill?
Correct, until such time as we have at
3
least
quotes.
2 other competitive quotes.
And Candy, all right, Bill? Your vote?
Oh, yes, the motion, I agree with the motion.
Candy?
Yes.
Jody?
Yes.
Walker?
No.
Hunt?
No.
Susie? No? Spicer?
No.
Okay, we're gonna let him go through with it.
Well,
No, now we have to have the motion to go for it, right?
Yeah, the motion failed.
Motion failed.
So it's-
Okay. I make a motion to approve the proposal from D'Angelo Construction, perform repairs in Oak Point Water System.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion. I have a second. Any further discussion? We'll go ahead and, Clerk Susie, please provide a roll call.
Reiber,
No?
Walker,
Yes.
Hunt,
yes.
Valente,
No.
Ovater,
No.
Susie, yes. Spicer?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, motion carries. Moving on. We are at action item number 5, which is the consideration of Resolution 260202A to establish a 6-month temporary moratorium on the acceptance and approval of applications for data centers and cryptocurrency mining facilities within Genoa Charter Township.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So staff has prepared this moratorium for your consideration this evening to give us time to amend zoning ordinances and do research to determine where the best locations for these types of land uses would be in the community, and then also what type of regulations should we have in place to mitigate any negative impacts from these land uses. This is relatively new and emerging land use, and we feel like the opportunity for 6 months to do that research and to work with the Planning Commission on adopting ordinance amendments would be prudent.
Thank you very much for doing this. I'm glad to see this on the agenda tonight.
Absolutely.
I have a question about this.
Absolutely.
So in the memorandum and then again in the actual resolution, it says that the moratorium applies only to new applications and previously approved or vested projects are not affected as recommended by council. Do we currently have projects for data centers?
We do not have any projects that have been proposed, so there's no applications currently pending. We do have a development agreement, however, that has data centers listed as an allowable use. And the attorneys have advised for that agreement, we cannot put a moratorium in place because it would violate state law.
Where is that at?
It's the South Latson
Oh, yeah.
PUD.
Data center?
Oh, yeah.
Hello, that's a new one.
It's
Keep in
been in
mind,
there the
though,
whole time.
That would be subject to the development agreement. Anything over 200,000 square feet would require a special land use, so there would still have to be an approval process for a data center to go in that location, but the moratorium, we've been advised, cannot apply to that.
Is that listed on the special permitted uses in the PUD?
Actually, it was included,
As a
I don't think it was redlined.
permitted use, not a special land
Yeah.
use.
Permitted use.
It's part of the zoning, the industrial. Which one?
Part of the PUD agreement.
Well, part of the PUD, but wasn't it covered by the existing industrial zoning or light industrial zoning?
No.
Okay, so okay. So yeah, that one is in there, and it, just like everything else, anything over 200,000 square feet is gonna come as a special use application, go through full public review.
How big is the one that they were proposing in what is it, the Verland Farm or
It
Verland?
was huge.
Yeah, 4.4 million.
4.4
I,
million.
I don't think they're building any 200,000 square
Van
foot
Gilder.
data centers. I mean, I don't,
That's what it is.
This property's not big enough for what?
yeah, the Van Gilders.
That one went away.
Most of what has been proposed has been hyperscale, which is 1 million and up, which is far in excess of our 200,000 cap. So I think we're pretty protected here. If Attorney Seward would like to explain his concern with potentially trying to block what is already in the PUD, just
Yeah, I
for
mean,
those of us at home.
If the PUD is enforceable, and I understand that there's some questions, everybody doesn't agree that it is. Yes, that's something that has already been contracted with, that's a vested right, so they would have the right to, if that PUD agreement is enforceable, to have up to a 200,000 square foot building that would house data centers. Now, keep in mind, if they try to go beyond that, that is a special land use. And of course, you have to keep in mind there has to be the appropriate resources for it, that can handle both the water and the electricity. So, I mean, it's not a done deal. That would have to go through site plan review and so forth. But if it's doable, yeah, I mean, and if its agreement is
And in essence, if they did come with a 200,000 or less square foot data center as a proposal and we said no or covered it with this moratorium, we would most likely be in breach of contract.
yes, then we've taken away a vested right that they have.
Which is why that recommendation was put in there.
My question.
Oh,
Nonetheless,
absolutely.
it's a great thing to have for now.
Is there anything that prevents us from going beyond 6 months in the initial moratorium? Can
There
we do it
isn't,
for like 2 years or 5 years?
So there is something that prevents us from going that long. So we can only ask for
Would be
a
nice.
moratorium commensurate with the amount of time that it will take to actually put the regulations in place. So, and the ordinance that was adopted by this board that amends the zoning ordinance only allows for a 6th and then another 6 months. So The courts have been fairly supportive of moratoriums when it is found that they're reasonable and the timeframes that are established are not excessive. So we have to be very cautious and make sure that we're moving judiciously towards adopting standards, because if we were to delay it longer than that, the judges would likely find that the moratorium was invalid.
What a great lawyer answer.
You can't do it to intentionally block something. We can do it to allow for a reasonable amount of time to put rules in place.
Correct.
Right.
Okay.
So at the end of 6 months, I'm crystal ball in here, let's just say that we vote to approve this 6-month moratorium with a possible one-time extension of an additional 6 months. So 6 months from now, the alarm clock goes off and we sit here and vote on whether or not to extend it for another 6 months. But when that alarm clock goes off, that's it.
Correct.
Is that what you're saying?
That is it. We will then have to have something in our zoning ordinance permanently that address, we don't have anything,
Or a
data centers
reason
weren't
why we
really a
need more
thing.
research.
That's on the planning commission zoning, so, they'll have 6 months to put together the proper
Ordinance.
rules and parameters for that.
And just for the benefit of the board, staff has been working already on doing research on ordinances. We have a draft ordinance that we're building from, so I really don't see there being an issue with us meeting the 6 or the 12-month deadline if we need it, because we are pretty well underway with doing our research on what should or should not be included in this ordinance.
This particular window will put us into an area where we're most likely doing a redo of the entire ordinance for Genoa. There's probably not a section of our ordinance that won't get touched based on the feedback from the master plan. So there will be opportunities to address just about everything. And so this will be right in that time. The 6 months should be right close to when that will be happening.
But like with the solar farms and the windmills, doesn't the state kind of take?
Not yet on
precedence over
data, but if
anything?
it's
Not
declared a
with the data
utility,
centers?
watch out.
Not yet.
Pardon?
If they declare it a utility, then watch out. But as of right now, local control still
Good to know.
is the word. And, you know, maybe if PA 233 challenge is successful, we'll get back our oversight of solar as well.
Good.
Let's hope. Yep. Any further questions or concerns? At this time, I would entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve Resolution 260202 to establish a 6-month temporary moratorium on the acceptance and approval of applications for data centers and cryptocurrency mining facilities within Genoa Charter Township.
I'll second it. I'll second it.
Okay? I have a motion, I have a second. I know this is a little odd, but we did have one quick question from the audience.
We did. Do you need me to go mic?
Please.
Okay.
This is a former planning commission member, and we value his opinion.
Yes, Jeff DeHanens, 5494 Sharp Drive. The question is, I totally understand the data center piece of it, but the reality is, you already have cryptocurrency mining going on in the community. I mean, it's just a server and internet at somebody's house, like a gaming server as well. But I get it, it makes sense, and hopefully we get the master plan dialed in so we can take care of the data center piece as well. But I just wanted to make sure that people were aware cryptocurrency goes on anywhere that you have access to the internet bandwidth. So, thanks.
Absolutely. We appreciate that. It was recommended by staff that we put that in there, so we took staff's recommendation.
For facilities, like it looks like something major.
So I have a motion and I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I will ask Clerk Susie for a roll call, please.
Valente,
Yes.
Havarder,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Reiber,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Susie, yes. Spicer,
Yes.
okay.
Motion carries. Action item number 6 is the consideration of Resolution 260202B, honoring the retirement of Cindy Overby.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So Cindy Overby has been a township employee since 2014, and she's getting ready to retire. So I prepared this resolution just to honor her contributions to the township and to give that to her tomorrow morning. Her last day is Friday here, and she's going to be greatly missed by staff. And so I thought this would be a nice gesture.
Well, I'd just add, I've worked with Cindy for many years, and she's been a great asset to this township, and like Kelly said, she will be dearly missed.
And this morning at our clerk staff meeting, I told her about this and read the resolution to her, and she was in tears.
So with that, I will entertain a motion.
I would like to make the motion to approve the resolution 260202B, honoring the retirement of Cindy Overby.
I would support that motion.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I would ask Clerk Susie for a roll call, please.
Walker,
Yes.
Ryber,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Valenti,
Yes.
Hovarder,
Yes.
Susie, yes. Spicer.
Yes. Motion carries. Enjoy your retirement, Cindy, and thank you for your years of good service. Moving on. Action item number 7 is the request for approval of the closed session minutes from January 20th, 2026. Clerk Susie is going to hand the minutes out. We will have a few moments to review them. And then we'll make a determination if we are able to approve them as written or if modification is needed. If anything needs to be changed, we will unfortunately have to go into a closed session to do so. That is the only thing we would be able to address in the closed session is the minutes.
We're there. This is for the 20th.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, okay.
Which one is this one for?
This isn't from the past Wednesday. This is actually 2 Mondays before that.
Oh, that one.
Oh, I was thinking it was the other thing.
Yeah.
This isn't Wednesday night.
Yeah, okay, yeah, okay, now cobwebs out, gotcha.
Yep.
Because I don't remember seeing Joe at the last one,
You did not.
but he was here.
Boy, I don't know. Seemed to go a lot longer than this.
Hey.
Is it not see one? Sorry, I only missed you.
That's all right.
Thank you. You got all 6 of them, right?
With that, I would entertain the appropriate motion regarding the minutes you all just read.
I would move approval of the closed session minutes from January 20th, 26, as presented.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion?
I appreciated the update.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Seeing none, I would ask Clerk Susie for a roll call, please.
Ryber,
Yes.
Hunt,
Yes.
Valenti,
Yes.
Hovarder,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes.
Susie, yes. Spicer.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, the minutes are approved. Moving on is discussion item number 8, which is the review and discussion of a second draft budget for the coming 26-27 fiscal year, which begins on April 1st of 2026.
So I would like to declare my conflict of interest on this again, so you guys are aware. I know that the senior center funding was moved to the Parks and Rec budget, fund number 208. So if you would wish to recuse me from that discussion of the Parks and Rec budget, then.
Why was it moved to the Parks and Rec budget?
Can I jump in for a real quick second?
Yep.
I don't think that Ms. Valenti actually has a conflict because today is just discussions and the statutes and the cases all talk about voting, approving. So I don't think she necessarily has a conflict for at least discussions. Now, you may, if you're going to discuss the Brighton Center, that might be a situation where, you might want her input just for facts and so forth. Or you may, say, hey, at that point, maybe she should step aside, but that would be, again, the board's vote. But to say that you have a conflict, no, you don't have a conflict right now, but it's great that you raised
Potential
this
conflict.
issue.
Okay.
I appreciate Jody's input and would love to keep you in the discussions as far as the budgets go.
Now, what I would like to ask real quick from Attorney Seward, do you have a recommendation when it does finally come time to approving a final budget for the next fiscal year?
So I understand that right now, the senior center reimbursing the membership fee for Genoa residents only is wholly contained in Fund 208. At that point, I would say she has a conflict, and then the board has to decide whether it's substantial enough that she should recuse herself.
And
So
do you
one-
have an opinion either way on that?
Yes, I would,
For appearances,
Candidly, I have gone back and forth on this issue as to whether she should or shouldn't. I look at the state's statute, and for the state, it's something that's more than $25,000. And, the cases where they said there is a conflict, it dealt more with, it directly benefited, that person, their salary, their budget and so forth. And as I understand this, Ms. Valenti's position and her budget is independently decided from anything this board does. So right now, that's my opinion as to, I don't think she does, but I'm going to pay close attention to what the discussions are.
in the event that we decide that she does need to recuse, we simply have to present a budget with Fund 208 removed from that budget so that she can vote on the entirety of the rest of the budget, just not Fund 208.
Correct. If the board
If-
unanimously decides that that is a conflict that she should recuse herself from.
Okay.
The only question I would ask, is there anything in your employment agreement that gives you a bonus or a positive review that would help in the case of involving townships, resident types, stuff like this?
No, and if we're being technical, I have two budgets because I run the senior center and the adult and youth enrichment programs. And my salary and benefits actually come off my adult youth. It doesn't come off the senior center. Now, what the school district,
How they
they
mani-
always manipulate money around, but the actual budget as it sits, that is, the enrichment budget is where my salary and benefits are, because that was my original role with the district, and then they added
The responsibility?
the responsibility of the senior center to my role, so.
well, especially with that comment, I
So
mean,
there
this is a,
there is no director funding on the senior center budget. It has like my bus driver and my,
Oh, okay.
my like the staff that run the front desk, and then my assistant who I had gotten some grant funding to cover her. Those are the only people that are on the actual senior center budget.
Well, in light of that information, and I didn't think so before either, but that even more
Makes it even more so,
confirms
yeah.
that I do not see this as a conflict at all.
Do you concur?
Oh, yes. I mean, the more information we gather, the better it is in making the decision. And I agree, yeah, if it doesn't have any impact whatsoever, it's not even part of your
We still
budget.
have a few weeks to come to our final conclusion, but I mean, it does, I've never actually seen a budget passed with specific items pulled out for one member. That's not to say that it doesn't have to be done, I
guess, you
haven't
know,
seen it.
The nice thing, though, is if it comes down to it and this board decides that it is a conflict, I mean, we only have to pull out the one fund, which is 208 Parks and Recreation Fund budget. Everything else you would vote on, so.
Right.
Not that I think that's
I'm in
necessary.
mind to keep it all together, and I don't think there's a conflict, but we'll cross that bridge a few more weeks.
Okay, well, that being addressed, any questions on the budget itself?
Now, the only thing is Candy had asked right before Jody explained her situation is why was it pulled out? When this senior program started, it was set up in the Parks and Rec fund. It was never in the general fund.
Yeah.
As far as the Brayton Senior Center. So,
It's where we assigned it when we approved it.
yeah,
It's new, so last year was the first time it appeared.
yes.
And, you know, we have evaluated it, it seems to be pretty popular.
Yeah,
I
we
don't-
have, I believe when I did my count, we've had 7 new members just in the last 2 days from Genoa Township. So,
It's
The
excellent.
word is getting out there.
we have 202 current members from Genoa,
Not bad.
so not bad.
And
It's
then we'll have
growing,
to renew again, what, August 1st or something?
starting May 1st. May 1st through June 30th is our renewal because our new membership year will start July 1st. And I believe that there's, I mean, we'll see. as
So the
they go
people that
out.
renew today, $25, then we gotta do another 25 for them in May?
Yep,
Yep, that's how the membership
there's no
goes.
discount for coming in late.
Yeah, we don't I mean, it's $25.
I know.
No prorating.
Pretty small to prorate.
But for us, it'll be another
And
25 bucks.
but that'll carry them over for the whole, till the following year. So like people that come in now, I have a cutoff that I have to set. Because we don't prorate, it would be an administrative nightmare on our end to refund like $2,
Of course.
you know, it would cost us more money in processing fees. So we have our cutoff of, April, I think it's the middle of April, where if someone joins, then we will just push them on to the next year. So they'll go on to next year, but that's kind of our cutoff, because we figure it literally breaks down to $2.10
I know.
a month, and that's,
Understood.
we're not raking in the dough over there with $2.10 a month.
No.
Anything else? You will notice we made it a revenue neutral budget. Are people comfortable with the amount that is currently held in the general fund? Would they like to see more? Would they like to see less? We didn't get a lot of feedback last time regarding that number.
Now, Kelly, the next time this board sees this will be for approval, correct?
We'll have the public hearing
Public
Public
hearing.
and then approval.
Is that on the same night or be the following board meeting?
Probably the following meeting. Have a public hearing at the next meeting, and then the following meeting can
Be
be
a board
The
approval.
final.
for
Okay.
approval. So that would be approval first meeting in March.
Which you know,
We just have to
gives us a
approve this
cushion in case
March.
there's any hiccup, we can still approve on the 15th.
That fund balance,
What's that?
it's about a 50%.
Little over. Close to 60, 58 and change. In order to get a revenue neutral budget, we did take out a road project that was requested by the road commission, that being Richardson Road, just so everybody's aware. We do have a $200,000 election to run, so that definitely impacted the budget pretty significantly.
And then next year we won't have that, so
Next
then
year we
can
won't
pick
have
up
that.
the road.
Right.
Yeah, we can certainly put the road off. Luckily, on a gravel road, I mean, it's not going to be harder to do the following year. There won't be further deterioration that increases cost of repair.
What was it you were going to do to it?
What's that?
What were you going to do to Richardson Road?
They want to re-gravel.
Oh, like limestone again?
Yep.
We get a list of recommended projects from the road commission every year, so.
Whenever, much as they, did last year on the several roads that we did, on a dirt road, when they redo it, they correct drainage, they cut down trees that are an issue. I mean, it's more than just throwing some gravel down and calling it a day. I mean, it's a reconstruction of the gravel road. They usually increase the crown, and they usually raise the level of the road. Roughly 4 to 6 inches of limestone the whole way, and it is Richardson Road from Coon Lake to the end of the township at Schaefer. So it is a fairly large project, so that's why it was a fairly large number. I'm sure you can concur that Richardson Road is not in the greatest of shape. It's not impassable. It's not impassable,
Oh, yeah.
but
No, and it slows people down.
That is true.
there is that.
There is that, yeah. No, I understand.
Way to find the
I don't know
positive.
about slowing people down on the dirt roads. I don't know about slowing people down on the dirt roads.
Well, there's a lot of potholes.
Trying to
pretty
think
rough
if
and
there is
pretty narrow.
anything else to
I always
highlight.
thought that living on a dirt road would,
Mr. Chair, there is one thing I would like to ask for the board's feedback on, and that is our support of special assessment district projects. If you turn to page 42 of your packet, you will see that the special assessment district fund, ending fund balance would be $356,000. I have been working with North Shore Commons to do a special assessment district in their neighborhood. The cost of that district would be $403,000. And if we wanted to support that project, it would be required that we transfer some funds into this. So I was looking or hoping to get some feedback from the board on whether or not you wanted to show a transfer in. I think probably around $50,000 would be enough to make sure that we could get their project completed. You good with that?
Yep, yeah, absolutely.
Sure, so it's the condominiums, the North Shore Commons subdivision, they're private roads. And they're looking to do a road improvement project to fix their roads. And so the special assessment district fund is a revolving fund, so the township loans money to projects to get completed, and then we get paid back that amount plus 2% interest. So this fund replenishes itself over time, but because it's been such a successful program and we've done so many projects over the last few years, the fund balance has dwindled down to a point where if we want to continue to support projects, we'll need to transfer some money in.
Now, I'm sorry, Kelly, you said this is North Shore Commons, which is private roads?
Correct.
So the township would not
There is
contribute
no
to
match
this?
from the township.
Cannot,
We couldn't if we wanted to, but
right.
it would be pretty improper to take public money to support a private project, so.
So this is a project for next year, obviously. So you're looking for a 50,000
To bring it up to the
transfer?
403.
Do we want to, what we're asking is, do we want that put into the budget? Because if they come with enough support, do we want to tell them, sorry?
I'd put it in.
I would be in favor of transferring money over to cover it if we're that close to the amount.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Just knowing that then any other SADs for next
have to
year,
wait.
probably gonna have to wait.
Where does that money come from then? That other
The
50,000?
general fund. Now, the nice thing about this particular fund is it, as Kelly mentioned, replenishes itself as it gets paid back. 8 years, 10 years down the road, there is going to be a lot of money in the SAD fund. Unless a lot more people come through seeking, us to set up
Well, It's a great
districts.
benefit that we provide the community.
Yeah, unfortunately, if we didn't do it, these subdivision roads would not get done.
Right.
We didn't assist in doing it, I should say.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the residents, they take a hit, and we do appreciate that unfortunately they have to do that. But previous budgets for the road commission have been pretty small. Current leadership has increased the payments to the road commission quite a bit. Don't know if they've increased it enough to do subdivision roads, but we would like to at least revisit potentially partial. Maybe we can step out of the 1,500 per parcel and the road commission can replace us,
That
because
would be nice.
the amount of money that we have decreased miraculously has gone to the county road commissions. And on that note, just came across this today from the MTA. The reduction in our state fund revenue sharing is actually going to be a little less than what is on here, because we calculated it a little differently. So it looks like it's gonna be just a shade over $26,000 is how much our state revenue sharing is going to drop.
That's not bad.
Nope,
better than I
considering
thought.
It's gonna be-
everybody was pretty much between 1 and 1.3% throughout the entire state, township-wise, so. And as I said, that money literally directly went to county road commissions. So it's almost like the state legislature is saying that maybe the road commissions need to do more of the roads than the townships. But that'll be an argument for another day with another board.
How do we get, I'm looking at estimated revenues on page 29. This is income, right? So how do we get income from, I'm sorry, charges for service, stop this, slow planning. Revenues should be income, right?
Right, yep.
So how does charges for service of fees and application, oh, okay, this is the people paying and, okay. How do we get revenue from election? Do these facilities pay us to hold elections there or something?
The school elections, they do reimburse us for the school election. We also get money back from the state. Not a great deal of money, but we do get some money back from the state. So there is some revenue coming back to us.
And I believe the
The state is for early voting.
only for the early voting,
Oh,
right?
yes, early voting, but we do get money back from the state on early voting, and the school elections, the schools will pay us.
We would just use that money to then offset some of the costs of actually running the elections?
Yep.
Anybody have any
So,
additional?
$200,000 that it might cost us to run elections, it's probably gonna cost us more like, 165 or something like that, when all the smoke clears.
When you do a school election, do you have like a contract with them that they have to pay?
Whenever they
certain
put up a
cost?
school election, they have to reimburse us for the election.
I remember I attended a meeting with the old board and they were having a little bit of an issue getting the money from Howell
That,
for something.
that might be an issue.
There was a billing dispute on what was being charged.
Yeah.
It wasn't trouble getting it from the schools, it was
It
a
was a billing
dispute.
issue.
Oh, it was just a different
Yeah.
amount or something that they thought?
They disagreed
They
with
thought
our
the charge was way too
calculations.
high.
Oh, who comes up with the fee? The
The
charge?
clerk,
Yeah?
yeah.
How, okay.
The clerk sets the clerk's budget. Treasurer sets the treasurer's budget. I mean, technically, we approve it, but the number is
Wondering how
derived
you
from input from
come to
the
the amount, I
department
guess.
heads. Yeah, no, absolutely.
It
Fair
should be
question.
based on actual costs.
Yeah.
I think that was, Robin, perhaps you can shed some light. That was probably an isolated incident, not
It was.
necessarily
It
a.
was the previous clerk,
So. We don't
Once
anticipate,
removed.
once removed.
we don't, yes, we don't anticipate any issues.
No.
And there are potentially 2 school board elections,
I heard that.
or school millage elections.
Be on the ballot, yeah.
And that would be in May? May election?
Yes. We will hit the socials very hard to let anyone know if there is a May election. Any other questions, concerns, input? Okay, well, this was the second look at it. The other thing is those projects, I mean, it was the easiest to pull out the Richardson. We could decide that we want to do Richardson and pass on some other roads. That'll be up to us when the time comes, when we set the budget. But we will have to let the road commission know fairly soon to get in on the action.
I just want to make one more comment, and that's in addition to adopting the budget for next year, we'll also be looking at this current fiscal year budget and making any proposed amendments to that. And that is relevant because there are some instances where we have not spent what we budgeted, and so making those revisions to the budget will likely change a little bit the perspective that you're seeing here in this budget. For example, if you look at the road improvement fund budget, you can see in this middle column was what we budgeted, and the numbers to the left of that are what those projects actually cost. So right away, looking at that, we'll see some additional fund balance added as a result of amendments to the current fiscal year budget. So when we bring this back, we'll hopefully have a better idea of exactly maybe where we're going to be sitting with the fund balance in those accounts.
The general fund balance will be a little higher than it currently shows, but
Yeah, we'll do the same with the revenue too. We've got some more additional revenue coming in than we anticipated, so.
It's all a moving target.
It is.
It's fluid.
It's a guessing game.
We take a snapshot in time and that's what you see, but it's not necessarily,
It moves.
it moves.
okay, so being that was discussion only, there's no further action needs to be taken. If everyone's comfortable, we will move on. So up next is correspondence.
You're on, Kevin. You're on for correspondence.
What did I put in here?
Dan,
So the first item is the Huron River Watershed Council report from our
yeah.
representative, Dan Kishian. I thought Dan did an excellent job, an outstanding
Phenomenal.
job, really, of putting a summary together of the activities with the Huron River Watershed Council. And I'd wish to publicly thank him for the time that he spent preparing this synopsis.
it was awesome.
Absolutely. Yep, that was a very good summary of his view of what they're doing. And he does feel that they are offering value to our residents, so. And it is important, that's a very important waterway for everybody in this region, so. We did budget to continue.
And then I
With
did
that
put
support.
two other items in correspondence. The first is just a notice that the franchise cable agreement that we have with WOW was transferred to Bandit Midco. There isn't anything that we have to do other than just put this on file, and so for the board's benefit, WOW was purchased and is now owned by Bandit. And then the second item was just a nice letter of appreciation for our staff member, Amy Ruthig. We don't often get compliments, so I wanted to make sure to include this in the board packet because Amy always goes out of her way to make sure that she's delivering top-notch customer service. And this person thought so much of it, he wrote a letter to the supervisor, so.
It's nice to get good feedback.
Absolutely. Well done, Amy.
Kudos to Amy.
Moving on then, I would welcome any board comments.
Yeah, I have one thing to talk about. Right now, we put a separate line item on our bill pay for bills on hold. Actually, we hold everything until after the board meeting, everything. So there's extra time and effort for staff to create a separate line item for bills on hold. We don't feel that this is something that we need to continue. And so the next time you see this, you won't see that line item. It'll all be in those departments of where they belong for the bills, but they'll be all on hold anyway. So we're just not going to present it as a a line item of bills on hold. They're all gonna be on hold until after the meeting.
Technically, we meet almost every 2 weeks. There's no reason to
Right.
have to mail anything.
Right, plus
prior
the
to.
fact with Cindy retiring and Denise picking up the slack on that, we're gonna try to streamline that all down, so it isn't like we're sending out checks all the time. The vendors that we have, we don't have an issue with holding that for these meetings in between. They can wait 2 weeks if they happen to come in tomorrow and they'll make after the next meeting, whatever. So we're gonna streamline that and not waste a lot of staff time.
Good idea.
That's number one. Second thing I want to talk about is, right now, we have a permanent absentee voter application list and a permanent absentee voter, what do I want to say? Ballot. So these are people on a permanent absentee voter application list. These are people that we are requested to send out a letter to them, or a ballot, an application for a ballot, and then they send it back. The state has gotten away from doing that for the most part. They don't think it's necessary. We don't think it's necessary. So we're going to eliminate the permanent absentee voter application list. Currently, there's 2,100 plus people on that list, which means that we have to send them the application. Now, keep in mind, you've got the mailing of that application, you got the envelope, and we have to also have an envelope for returning it back to us, the application. It's 2 mailings and all kinds of stuff. It's roughly about $7,000 it cost us to send out this permanent absentee voter application. So we're gonna send out one letter to them. I'm gonna give you a copy of them. The letter that's going to the people, telling them we're getting rid of that permanent absentee ballot application list and giving them the instructions of how to put themselves on the permanent absentee ballot. So we don't have to deal with that. We also have about 6,100 people, plus it keeps changing every day, that are on the permanent mail ballot list, so that they are automatically getting it. So the only thing that we're doing there is to drop the application list, just more of information for you, for that.
Well, if the state is eliminating it, there's certainly no reason why we should continue it.
Right.
Seems like a total waste. Thank you.
Kelly, do you need one?
No, thank you.
Huh?
No, thank you.
Does she need?
No, she said no.
No.
Thanks,
Okay.
Rick. Yeah, so Rick, the difference here is that the 2,127 voters, they have to constantly apply every election for this, where some people just automatically.
We
just
mail out a ballot
automatically
for
they get an
6,100
absentee
people.
ballot mailed
These
to
are
them.
people that have asked us to be on the absentee ballot list. They check a box for that, and we have to send it to them, and then they send it back to us and so forth. So we're saying we're not gonna have a list doing that. If you wanna be on absentee ballot, here's how
Follow the
to,
instructions.
just follow the instructions, or we'll put you on, call us, whatever, stop in, we'll put you on the permanent list, but we're not gonna send out applications for that. That costs us about $7,000, all said and done, to do that. And we don't.
So we don't send out any communication, then we just send them a ballot when the time
Those are
This
on
is
the
just the
permanent list.
application.
This is an application.
Right, but then you said there's
6,100 just get a ballot.
6,100.
That'll get their ballot in the mail to them.
So if we add that 2,100 to the 61, that's about 8,200 that will just automatically get a ballot.
If they all go that way.
Why would we, I mean, is there a risk to send the 2,127 people,
Because
just
it's 20.
automatically just send it right with the permanent?
No, because.
Well, they
what-
have to register to be permanently on the, okay, that's,
Yep.
they actually have to ask it. You're
They
right.
have to follow through with the procedure.
It's double stuff. And the state's getting away from it, they wanna eliminate it. We just wanna move the people off of the application list onto, if you want an absentee ballot, just be on the absentee ballot roll, so, to get it.
Some might argue the state is
So
forcing
you have a
the
copy of their
ballot for
letter
a
that
reason,
those
but-
2,100 are gonna get.
Well, that'd be a question, like, do we do we have processes in place to verify those 6,100 people?
Of course we do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we do scrutinize. There were how many were there?
500,
Were there 500 disallowed in 24?
yeah.
Where there were signature issues or other?
We're talking about on the front end, that didn't verify.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
On the back end of the ballots that were turned in, there were a number, I think it might have been 13, but I don't remember.
it was a small number.
It wasn't a huge number, but were disallowed for bad signatures or some sort of information not lacking. One thing I don't care for, but I mean, it's not up to us, it's up to the state, is just that these ballots are kind of floating around. The ones that don't come back are just kind of floating
It's
around.
kind of a pain in the neck when you, on election day, when you're having someone come in and they've been issued an absentee ballot and they didn't turn it in, or they have it or they don't have it, and then we have to go through a lot of stuff from the clerk's department to get them verified, to be able to vote there on the spot and so forth. It's
Aren't they supposed to bring in their ballot to have it destroyed if they want to vote in person?
That
Say
would be the
forget it, we
preferred
gotta
way.
spoil it.
Yeah, that would be the
Yeah.
preferred way, yeah.
But they don't always do that.
They
Or
don't,
they lost
but
it, or,
the procedure is that if you come in on election day, the other ballot will become null and void.
right.
Okay.
There is no risk of double voting.
Yeah, they don't get to vote twice.
Rick, on the letter that's being sent out, it says, beginning with the next election. Which election would that be? Would
May.
these be this?
May,
Okay, would it make sense to add that?
We don't know for sure if there's
well,
gonna be
we
a
don't
May,
have,
right?
quite frankly, we're anticipating a May election, but we have, neither one of the schools have submitted to be on the ballot yet. They have till this week to be on the ballot. The 10th, actually, I think is the date. Right, Kelly?
Will we post that
Is it 10th?
election on
I'm
our
not sure.
website?
I
or
think it's
something?
the
How would
10th.
they know whether or not, how would I know? Joe,
But wait,
public.
like I said, if somebody applies to have a vote in May, we will work the socials so that at least, our township residents know that there is a May election, that they need to express their
If-
will.
If the school election deadline is this week, these letters are dated the 13th, would it be a good idea to add to this letter the next election for whatever school on May 2nd? Or whatever the date is, I just
The
threw it.
10th is their last
May.
date.
Yeah.
So what you're asking is this letter state that your next election will be in May for the school?
If somebody does meet the 10th, there might be another
This hasn't
opportunity.
gone out yet, so.
Yeah, no, I see that.
There would be
you-
another opportunity to let people know that,
You'd have to sort them by school district and,
Well, that's the other problem. This is going to 2,100 people. Not all of them are going to be voting on their school,
true,
so,
we have many, up to 4 different school districts.
yeah.
check our website for your next election.
might be.
Yeah, I will definitely work the next door, and, we'll make sure it's on the app and stuff, that there is a May.
Yeah, we couldn't put that on there, Bill, because then it would be, because not everybody's going to be voting on that May election.
That's correct, that would be a bit of a nightmare. I see your point.
I get that.
Okay. Any other board comments?
Just to, the survey results, we talked about that not too long ago. Are those available for the giant survey that was taken?
That is what our joint meeting on the 28th, is it? The fourth Monday of February. Or no, I take that back.
I think it's the 23rd.
It's the
The
23rd.
third Monday, it's the planning commission, it would be the second planning commission meeting date, which is the third Monday, is our joint meeting with the planning commission, the ZBA, and this board. It will be a planning commission meeting, but we'll all be here. And Giffords is going to present the data. We've put that out there. We're gonna broadcast it on YouTube, so, if people wanna just stay home and see it, but we have seating for plenty. People are welcome to come and see. They'll be seeing it at the same time we are. We have not seen it. Giffords is compiling it, and then there will be, the planning commission will determine how many public feedback sections they want to hold. We'll have like an open house, a town hall style. Giffords will bring in examples and poster boards and all that kind of thing, and we'll probably, drill down on some areas that look like they may need more input or a change from what exists right now.
So I'm sorry, it's the 23rd? Okay.
Correct. It's
I
the
thought I
fourth-
heard that.
The fourth Monday of the month.
Okay, it's the
And
It's the
staff was
4th.
working on confirming that today.
Okay.
We did do a
double
poll.
check that we're not in,
With the sheriffs, we got a training,
yeah,
probably scheduled that day, don't
we'll
we?
have to reschedule that.
We do.
Oops.
I saw it somewhere, because I've known about this for a couple weeks. Didn't you post something
I did,
about
I
this?
posted it, yep.
Because I wrote it down, I already knew. Nice.
I think we
What'd
selected.
you write down? Because I don't know.
February 23rd, 6:30.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Here.
Yep, I just didn't realize that was
Yeah,
the
that's the
fourth
fourth
Monday.
Monday.
So yes, we do have a conflict, and we're going to have to correct that.
With Stop the Bleed?
Yes, I think they just stopped the bleed.
That is Stop the Bleed, which I just promoted.
We're already,
I
That's what
should
I
have caught
was
that.
It might be
Stop the Bleed.
appropriate.
So we may have to either push that,
Detector when
we may have to push that to the end of the line.
the training.
Yeah,
Just do it
so
the
that would be
alternate day.
May.
We just do it the alternate day, which would be Tuesday.
Okay. If we're set up, we'll try and, okay, we'll start to really get that publicized that, whoopsie,
Yeah.
Tuesday. Monday for the review of the master plan survey. Tuesday will be the new date for the Stop the Bleed, and we will get on that right away.
And then one last thing, on the board packet, page 51, Kevin, it said, there was an underline because it involved Genoa Township. It said that the health of the streams is quickly worsening through, though not yet bottomed out. The Water Council is looking for opportunities to work with the township. How do we help regenerate and replenish that stream?
Let's see, on 51. I believe they are discussing it at both the Huron River Watershed Council and SEMCOG. SEMCOG is going to be here in, is it March, Todd?
March 31st?
March 31st, SEMCOG is actually going to be here to discuss Livingston County issues as a whole. Obviously, we'll bring up, being the home team hosting it, we will go ahead and bring that up there. I will coordinate with Dan and see when it's going to, what their plans are and when it's going to come before the Watershed Council. See if we need to write letters, if we need to attend meetings, how we proceed to help that issue.
And just on that note, I know the planning commission's been working on some changes to, like, the wetland standards, for example. So a lot of this, I think, has to do with identifying the headwaters to these creeks, taking a look at our master plan, making sure that we're proposing land uses within the headwaters that promote the health of the river. And then also, looking at those wetland protection measures to make sure that we're protecting them that way.
Is there a chance they'll come and say we need some money? Or can you guys chip in and help with something?
In terms of them coming to us or us?
Yeah. Talking about budget.
They wouldn't come to us specifically. It would be the whole council, all members of the council would chip in equally,
Or they look for grants or different things and so forth. I don't see them coming with a hat in hand saying,
yeah, they won't come just to us. It's a full ecosystem, from the top to the bottom. So everybody participates equally. That is participating, we could definitely drum up some more support.
we don't have the waterways too much in Genoa, except we have the runoff for it.
Well, if there are no further comments, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. Please step to the microphone.
Well, there's a couple things, three things one thing I think you should do going forward is a call to the public at the end of the meeting. Because a lot of things get presented that we don't know, and then we're not allowed to comment on it. I mean, you're letting me, but technically we're not allowed to comment on it. So maybe that'd be something nice to have.
Okay.
The second thing was, I got the impression when you guys were discussing this water main thing that you convinced yourself that it's a one-off deal, but you have no facts. That's my point, is we have no information, no facts to say it was a one-off deal or it's not. My point before was, let's find out what it costs so we can find out if we have an issue or not. And if it's you know, if it's $1 million to find out, well then, yeah, we don't want to do it. But if it's $10,000 to do it, you know, this thing costs us $77,000 is my guess right now, with $50,000 immediately and then $27,000 to fix it, right? So that's $77,000 for one.
Greg's anticipating that 27 is worst case scenario, but he's anticipating being about half of that to repair.
Well, still, it's $60,000, right?
Yep.
So
No,
just for
absolutely.
one break. And if we end up having more, it's gonna be 60 grand a crack because we're doing it as an emergency fix instead of proactively fixing it as we go along if we find some of these. So I don't know the answer. I'm just saying that you should approach Greg with it and say, is there a way for us to proactively prevent these things from happening in the future? And how much would it cost? And if it's, because I'm paying for it, right? I'm in North Shore. So if our rates will go up if we keep having these things, and I'd rather do it proactively or not than do it later. Last thing was the data center moratorium. I like that, but I think that we're a little bit under delusional in that we think of data centers like this one they want to do out by Fowlerville, a hyperscale. But there's a lot of data centers that'll fit in 200,000 square foot buildings, no problem. And I was just doing a quick search while you guys are talking about it. There's 2 or 3 of them in Michigan right now that have that. So I think we need to be a little bit careful of saying we have a moratorium on data centers because we really don't, right? We're allowing potentially one in the Latson PUD, right? That's one of them that's granted in so far. So we could still have a data center there. It's just gonna, if he makes it 200,000 square feet or less, then it's in. And
That is the only place, within that PUD is the only place somebody could do a 200,000.
Right.
Everything else, anywhere else in the township would be 40,000 would be the max.
Right. The
And it would have
point
to be the
is,
proper zoning.
the general public will probably become quite upset when they say, we have a moratorium on here, and then 8 months from now, oh yeah, we're getting a data center in here anyway. So we need to be a little careful on how we communicate that, because we do have that one exception, and that could actually happen. So just because everybody's doing 1.6 million square feet deals, but when you look at those, they're divided up by sometimes a dozen buildings. So if you look at the one in Fowlerville, I think it was 1.6 million square feet, but I thought it was 10 buildings, so it's 160,000 square feet per building. So that would clearly fit here. So
Now, just keep in mind, it's an allowable use in the PUD, still would have to go through all the approvals, so. It's not a
yes.
given.
It's not a given. He can't just go plug one in there and we go, oops. It's on the list of allowable uses, but doesn't mean it's going to go.
Right.
No, I agree, but it's also not a moratorium on data centers is all I'm getting at, is that what we've done is good, but it's not 100% compensating for what's potentially out there. There is still one option out there. So those are the ones that usually bite you when you think you've got it, and that's the one that gets you. So just kind of bringing that up, that just because it's 200,000 square feet or less doesn't mean that we can't have a data center. Okay, thank you. But like I say, I would like to have a roll call at the end of the meetings so we can talk about the things we learned about here, just like my North Shore thing. It's not, unfortunately, not my road, but.
No, absolutely. Sure, Deb. This will be our experimental run with it.
Deborah Beatty, 3109 Pineview Trail. It's on the data centers. And I understand we're going to put this, moratorium in place, and that's good, though it doesn't apply to one of our big problems, which is Latson. And that is why some of us have been pushing really hard for an to fix our ordinances so they cover things like data center problems that people will not like. And as far as I'm concerned, and some others, it's been a real slow walk to get anything done on these ordinances. And this is one of those that will be really important. And I know we've already given you some ordinances, amendments, and maybe a new ordinance that would cover some of these data center issues. So please work hard on that and get all of those things to cover us. Thank you.
Thanks, Deb. Okay, and with that impromptu second call to the public, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. We are adjourned at 7:58 PM.